Hi, everybody. We're here on the stage on our usual night, Thursday. It's always been Thursday. It will never be Thursday again.
Nope.
It might be Thursday again. No, if you are tuning in expecting to see Metal Gear, sorry. Nick went out of town until he didn't because his water heater exploded. Also, Grant's sick. Also, all the things.
Yeah, it's kind of a good thing that this was rescheduled at the last second because, poor Nick is dealing with a busted water heater.
Yep.
Better that he just deal with that than
Yeah.
try and be here and play Metal Gear.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we didn't get to record on Monday like we usually do. Kieran's girlfriend came home from a con with the con crud and gave it to him.
Yep.
So now we're here today. Welcome to Anime FMK.
Hello.
Anime
FMK. Yep. This is our show. If you're not familiar, I mean, of course you're familiar. You're Metal Gear fans. That's basically anime, right? That's what I understand.
It is.
This is a show. We go down. We got a list of anime that we watched this week. I got it on my tablet. We're gonna hold up some signs. There's this green sign with this beautiful purpley eggplant. That means I like this show. I'm gonna fuck this show. I want to keep watching it next week.
But we also got this sign.
Oh yeah.
With a knife on it. We want to kill this show. We want to fucking murder this show.
Yeah, it's a bad show.
Yeah.
It's a bad show.
Yeah.
If a show gets 2 or more knives, it might die, meaning we don't watch it again next week. If there's a tie, we got rules. Last week we spun a wheel. That was fun.
It was fun.
I like
Oh,
that.
yeah, no, I like spinning wheels.
Yep.
I've been doing that for the last several years of my life.
See, it felt like he was setting me up for that, and then he took it. He snatched it like a grasshopper from Mr. Miyagi's hand.
Don't call me a snatcher. We've been through this, okay? We've been through that.
I'm just kidding. I've never seen Rocky. All right. All right. First on our list, on our discussion-y list, this is going to be an interesting episode because I've been streaming Wisdom all day. Scott's been editing. We watched all of this, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. So it's super fresh in our minds, obviously.
Yeah, it is.
But fortunately, I write down the world's most accurate plot summaries to remind us of what we're talking about. In this episode 19 of Ancient Magus Bride, Any Port in a Storm, Renfred, Alice, and 2 colleagues from the Sorcerer's College ask for Chisei and Elias' help tracking down the dragon poachers from last episode. Chisei contacts Seth, the man who sold her to Elias, and sure enough, someone is trying to sell a dragon through his auction house. They attempt to buy the dragon and track down the seller, but the dragon goes berserk, escapes his bonds, and torches the auction house.
Wow, this episode was pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
So can we just start with this is the darkest, maybe one of the darkest episodes in the entire series.
Since the City of Cats, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as I said before, when Joseph gets involved, the terrible things happen. Just the worst possible things happen when Joseph is there. And yeah, I can't imagine anything worse than one of the baby dragons being dissected on screen while one of the other ones watches.
Yeah, that was affecting. Most of it was just an extreme close-up of the one dragon's eye and just stop.
Yep, it's a really dark scene, man, and I kind of just sat there in awe because the show has been so discretionary with a lot of its violence, but yeah, it's kind of up front and center here. And meanwhile, after getting to meet these kids, they're children. They're just children. It's a pretty dark scene, and the rest of the episode kind of goes up and down between being full on It's interesting because the tone here is definitely all over the place, which is not that uncommon in Ancient Magus, but it is a little odd to see it kind of bounce to these extremes here.
I thought the scene with the dragon being stuck in his little harness on the auction, I don't know, that really got to me with that. I thought that was really effective.
Yeah, basically the little dragon and strapped completely tight all over, unable to move, is such a sad sight, especially given the circumstances.
Yeah.
also we get to see like the college. We actually get to see a lot of its alumni. It's well, not alumni. Alumni. It's
I don't know, couple of colleagues of Renfred's.
yeah, and that was really interesting. I wasn't expecting those guys to show up. Also, this episode kind of skips. What happened to Lyndall?
Yeah, we don't. Presumably, presumably he's okay because the college guys made it sound like he had been in contact with them and let them know what's up, and they make vague allusions to they have some sort of arrangement with Lyndall. They know each other, help each other out, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they sort of. We can only assume that he's probably in some kind of distress right now, considering that he had to send Selkie instead of his actual self.
I mean, he sent her last time he wanted to get in touch with them too, though. I think that's just kind of her job while he stays behind and watches over the dragons.
True. I guess he wouldn't exactly take that upon himself.
I think they mentioned that he can't leave.
Yeah, that's also true.
So that makes sense.
I just hope he is okay, because the last thing that we saw was, in fact, Joseph v. Lyndall. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that could have ended very poorly. Lyndall, although ostensibly, I think they would have been told, Selkie would have told them, like, hey, yo, Lyndall's dead, if he were.
Yeah.
So, but.
Yeah, you assume they would have led with that. I kind of don't like Renfred's colleagues.
They seem extra kind of stock anime character, yeah.
Yeah, they do seem a little boilerplate.
Yeah, they're not bad. They just seem like they walked in out of a different show.
Yeah.
A not quite as good show.
Yeah. I'll say this. I did like their interactions with Renfred. Like all of them, because they all feel like they are familiar with each other. These characters seem the most familiar with Renfred out of anybody, even more so than Alice. So to see these kind of like these conversations and this environment where he seems more at home and more relaxed is interesting, especially after he gets a couple of drinks in him. Renfred at the verge of tears is the best. Or no, just flat out crying there as he's sitting there. And I was like, I don't know. That scene kind of made the whole thing for me, regardless of how kind of, whatever his friends or colleagues were. But
yeah, something I didn't mention in my plot summary too. I'm curious about you guys' take on it. Chise has a dream about Joseph Kartophilus.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that scene is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like that is so a lot of one of the things that anime tries to do is stay away from too much. Like again, this show has been pretty discretionary with its gore and all that. Nah, they kind of just show you his empty eye sockets here, and that's really effective. Like I usually I don't like a series that goes too overboard with its gore or its violence or its imagery, but no, here it works so well. Just to see this like young man with this hollowed face, it's
Yeah, and he's a character that up until this point, I mean, he's clearly crazy. He's fucking nuts. But he's always been unaffected by anything. So to see him so unhinged about we're not really sure what.
I mean, it's obvious that he's got this kind of Jekyll and Hyde personality thing going on, where Kartophilus is Mr. Hyde, while it's hard to say exactly what Joseph himself actually is like. Perhaps he's just as crazy, but in a different way. But as we see, there's definitely two personalities going on there, and he's not happy with Kartophilus, and in that scene where he's talking to Chise, it kind of feels like a real cry for help. Which, I'm all about that kind of stuff. I'm all about the Jekyll and Hyde personality stuff, especially with a character like Kartophilus, who has just been, again, the best. I didn't need a main antagonist, but if this is what we're getting, he's really stinking good.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him, I don't know, vulnerable.
Yeah.
He's a character that up until this point has been a great presence because anytime he's there, he brings actual threat, which is something this show has not had. But he hasn't really been much of a character in and of himself until now. That said, I don't feel like I have much patience for this. We're not giving you any context to understand what's going on. Mysterious for the sake of mysterious. Like, I hope this is going somewhere.
Oh, yeah, especially that chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't I introducing this many new characters in one episode kind of seemed like, whoa, okay. I mean, yeah, sure, we're going to the college now, but we're mixing that with this big actual dilemma, and it's just making me hope that they can follow through on this because I don't know, it just seems like a bunch of setup. Next episode should be really telling though, because yeah, we're in serious shit land now. Also, yeah, Elias is acting. And I'm not surprised by this. It's not out of character, but yeah, he's acting way more possessive and way more controlling about Chisei right now.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason we haven't seen it is because he hasn't had to. He's kind of been in this place where he could be a little bit like, yeah, do what you want. But yeah, he flat out says she's not going to the college, so she doesn't need to know.
Yeah, this is the first time in a while that we've really seen him outside of. He's been at home for the last while, and he's been dealing with his insecurities and his stuff. But here, it feels like the sort of facade that you put on around people that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, this is the first time we really see him being, I feel like, more outwardly expressive with his need for her than he's ever shown prior. It seems like he's always been comfortable to be in the back and be more mysterious. But now this is a very forward-facing, I look completely different. And Chisei is like, what is he even supposed to look like?
Yeah,
that was interesting.
That face, have we seen that face before? Because I feel like we have not seen that face.
I don't think so.
That's not Lyndall's teacher, was it?
I was thinking it might have been that one caretaker that first found him, like that one doctor girl.
Yeah. I don't know.
When he showed up as the kid. I can't remember if it looked like her or not.
Might be. Have to go back and see. It's been a long time since we
Her
saw
without
that.
glasses. I don't know.
But it's it's a very different face. But it's really distressing, but in a good way. Because again, I like this sort of conflict. I like to see that Elias hasn't just gotten past all of his issues. We just haven't had an opportunity for him to kind of express himself. And yeah, he's it's kind of gross, but
yeah. It also, speaking of things we haven't seen in a while, answered a question that I had way back during the first episode. What happened to the money that Elias paid for Chisei?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, turns out the auction house took half and just put the other half in a bank account under her name, which seems like kind of a weird way to handle human trafficking. Like, okay, I own this person who has a bank account under her name. How does that work? But I don't know. I've always been intensely curious about the mechanics of this weird magical underworld's dealings in a way that the show just doesn't seem super interested in exploring.
Yeah.
But
well, it's kind of it's sort of interesting because here I like that it comes up in an organic way and not just explained to you. That's the thing I've always liked about Ancient Magus is that it never takes time to sit down and tell you, well, this is how the economy of the of this society works, blah blah blah, this and that. It only ever comes up when Elias needs to tell Chisei, or Chisei meets somebody who's trying to explain it to her out of the necessity of a situation and not the plot. So it's I don't know. I like the fact that we found that out this episode this way, and
I don't know. I'm just really curious, like, who builds their houses? What is their carpentry guild like? And what do they stand for?
Okay, so it's kind of the opposite of Hakumei Mikochi, but that is the selling point of Hakumei Mikochi.
But yeah, jam-packed episode. I felt it like it was kind of up and down, but as because I think this show's only 24 episodes, so this was 19. We got 4 more to go. 5. Yeah, 5 more to go if I'm doing my mental maths right. Feels like it's gearing up.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be 24 episodes, not 26?
I could be wrong, and if I ever did research, we would know, but I don't.
I always kind of feel like they're rushing through some of the material, and I won't lie to you. This season has felt like they've been rushing through material worse than the last season.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like there's stuff missing. And I'm still getting the major plot points, but I feel like they're like, okay, we have a lot of this story to tell. We need to tell it, and we cannot take a whole lot of time, with all of the smaller details. I don't know. It kind of feels like when you watch a movie that is based on a show, like that is actually like retelling it. But anime does it all the time. Yeah. It's kind of what this feels like to a certain degree. But you know, I'm still enjoying it, still loving it. It's still one of the best shows the last like little year.
So hold up a card. Tell us how much you loved it.
Yep. Definitely. Again, this show's gonna have to do something like real bad to ever get the knife from me. So I'm definitely fucking it. One of the darkest episodes in the entire show so far, and I'm very curious to see the fallout for this.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to do something real bad to get the knife from me. Endings are where a lot of shows fuck things up, so that doesn't mean that it's a guarantee. But that said, yeah, this did what it needed to do. It made me excited to see what will happen next.
Yeah, this is gearing up for what seems to be an exciting third act that it's been building up towards, and I'm still doing this. I'm still going to fuck it, but I am feeling much more heavily the excess, like stuff being cut that I need here. Just knowing that this is adapted from a manga, I'm a little wary of how it's going to end. So I'm still enjoying it now, but I do have my concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It could do what all the best anime do and just totally diverge from its source material right at the end and make its own ending.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
I'd like that. They show up and have a dance episode.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
You know what I could see having a dance episode?
What?
And would not be out of character at all? A Place Further Than the Universe. I could see them just spending a whole episode just dancing. We're on this ship. It's going to take us like 3 weeks. I don't know. How long does it take to get to Antarctica? We got nothing to do but dance. I don't know. That was a shitty transition. Welcome to the show. In A Place Further Than the Universe, episode 7. We are, as of this recording, we are slightly behind. Episode 8 just came out yesterday, but with all the craziness, we weren't going to try and do more. We're sticking with 7 today. You can hear about 8 on Monday if you catch it live, or next Wednesday, theoretically. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, A Place Further Than the Universe, episode 7. The girls board the Penguin Manju, the ship that will take them to Antarctica. Through a series of flashbacks and montages, we get some backstory about the ship, its crew, and Miskatonic University's previous ill-fated expedition to the Antarctic. Scott, start us off. How'd you feel about this episode?
A very transitional episode, getting you on the boat, getting you a little bit more acquainted with the atmosphere that's on the boat and the kind of environment that they'll be surrounding themselves in. A lot of building you up on, like, okay, this is how the ship works, this is where you're staying, this is how you're this is your, like, giving them a sense of what the responsibility is going to be. I think it won't be until the ship is really moving that we get a full sense of that. But yeah, this was just kind of getting them on the boat and getting them ready, while also introducing kind of a big conflict of, hey, so yeah, we barely have the money to do this ? And I thought that was sort of interesting. We also got to learn a little bit more about Shirase's mom, which I'm all about. I am so excited to learn more about her. We get to see a little bit more about resting exhausted face. Like I can't remember the adults' names for the life of me. I can't remember the names because they rarely ever say their names or are on screen very often. But also seeing her with the short hair, like I had to be like, wait, that is her, right? No, yeah, that's that same face of like, I'm just done, just fucking done. So I'm gonna start this off by saying, did we actually like 100% need this plot about can they, can't they with this expedition?
That's kind of where I was sitting. Like, my plot synopsis was pretty brief, and that's because I sort of didn't feel like I could fully figure out like what's actually important here. It felt like a lot of place setting that, I don't know. I wish there had been more of a. I mean, I guess there was. I guess that was the through line or the conflict, but it's like, well, you're going though.
Yeah, like everybody in the audience knows they're going to Antarctica. We know they're going to Antarctica. We know that they're going to make it. We know they're going to set sail. They're going to have problems, and that's cool. but what's with this whole plot about like, oh man, can they make it? And really, the problem is for the girls because all the staff saying like, no, we're doing this. This is happening. We're making this. The girls are the ones panicking. But why? Why make that a big underlying plot for this episode? Because ultimately, it's not going to add to their characters or to the actual overall plot. It's just a way for them for there to be again a bigger conflict in this episode, rather than them just getting used to the fact that yeah, we're about to do this, we're about to head out. I mean, it was regardless from that though, it was great to see other characters respond to the fact that yeah, we're about to go to Antarctica. This is our last day, like on land before we hit nothing but ice. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that like the scene with the drunk colleagues and that one girl who notices them with their ninja outfits on was great scene, fantastic scene. But yeah, like I kind of feels like I'm ragging on the episode for this one particular point, but.
Yeah. But I mean, that kind of was the episode. That was the skeleton that they tried to lay all this table setting around. So if that doesn't work, then it leaves you with kind of a limp, floppy episode. I don't know. What's your take, Kieran?
I'm not gonna defend it, but I really liked it. I thought it was harmless. I thought it was just this is more of the goofy side of the characters doing, because this is a goofy cute girls doing goofy cool things. We want to see the cool things, but this is also a show that has that demographic of people that want to see them doing stupid dumb stuff, and I like seeing them wearing ninja outfits and trying to stalk on the dinner. Like I don't know, like it doesn't need a conflict for me. It didn't need to be anything more than this because we need time to have them on the boat. I would not have liked them. We're on the boat and in the water already sailing in one episode. I think this was fine.
Yeah, and here I actually totally agree with you in that we didn't need a legitimate conflict or a big conflict. It just kind of felt like this one just rang hollow to me as a conflict, and it played such a big part. That was the problem. If it had been something sillier, then that would have been fine. Or if it had been something mundane that was recognizably mundane but hard for them, again, that would have been fine. But the episode just kind of plays it off as a legitimate concern for them, but it's not. Yeah. It's not a legitimate concern for like anybody. This isn't like when they lost their passport. That was a problem, and then the resolvement of that was hilarious.
Yeah, and for as mundane as it was, that had stakes.
Yeah, that had stakes. Here, again, it was just all dressing to get them to do these silly things, which the silly things were great. Like, let it be known that the effect that this conflict had in terms of, like, the actual events that played out, I was all about that. Also, I love all of the stuff with Shirase and being on camera.
Yep. Oh, right.
Yeah, and just getting to see Shiraishi be the girl that she is on TV or on YouTube, or the net celebrity that she is in comparison to her all the like the rest of the time. It's night and day, and I love that.
Yeah, I think what this episode did well is it did give me a sense of the people who are going to be on this ship with them, because up until this point, from the audience perspective, it could like. We know it's got to be more than these 4 girls and the 2 female expedition leaders, but we haven't really gotten to know anybody else. So, like, that was necessary. I kind of wish it had a little more, but it did tell us something else that we needed to know. They're not legal. They're not legal. I'm talking to you, audience.
I loved that a lot just because, you got a bunch of guys these are all like college university students, somewhere between the age of 18 and 28. In that span of that age
in an enclosed space.
Yeah, in an enclosed space
where the gender ratios are all wrong.
But it's actually, so that scene is my favorite scene in the episode, like by far.
No, totally.
Yeah, just they all introduce themselves, and then I was not expecting. So what Shirase does, that whole like her repeating the speech thing, on paper, I would not have told you that is as effective as it actually was. But gosh, I teared up during that scene. I was like, wow, you know what? Shirase has always been that character who has trouble expressing herself when she's not being challenged. We've seen this before. She's usually actually pretty reserved or pretty uncomfortable, pretty awkward around people. So it's so good for her to get out there and say, I'm a part of this crew and we're gonna do this together. Is it weird that nobody kind of pays any mind to the fact that she's the daughter of the chick who died last time, though?
I don't know, maybe a little bit, but that's also...
I don't know how you bring that up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with, that's just such an unnatural thing to bring up like that. I'm just like, okay, everyone's silent. Like, that is the most recognition you get. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm so used to, and maybe it's a bad storytelling metric, but I'm used to in other media that being a big piece of gossip between like side characters or background characters.
You need your shonen character in the background going, isn't that the girl whose mom died last year? And I don't need that.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just something that I noticed missing, and maybe that is a bad storytelling element. Maybe that doesn't need to be here.
I wonder if, because I think the place where it feels left out, I agree. I don't need it like, isn't that we all know that, they all know that. But it was never acknowledged like publicly during the speech. And this is a colleague that they all lost. I think the more natural thing actually is to acknowledge that and press F to pay respects.
Yeah. No, I could see that too.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's not a plot point now that I think about it, because like they've talked about how like these struggles they've had to get funding, maybe that's kind of not something they want to talk about, because that can cause you problems. Like, hey, somebody fucking died last time, fund our expedition.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like not an open secret, but just kind of one of those things that you're not really supposed to discuss.
Absolutely. I can see that. With them having camera people there for that shit, I can see them trying to bury their keep their skeletons hidden away. I don't know.
Yep. I've also seen people. I try to avoid chatter because chatter can include spoilers, but I've also seen people speculating that the secret mission is they're trying to recover her mom's body to give her a proper burial.
Oh man, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. That would get me to cry like a little bitch.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm gonna if that's the direction they go, I'm gonna cry so bad. I'm gonna cry a lot. She says, to see the sky, and I'm like, huh. I mean, obviously they're talking about the Aurora Borealis. I'm wondering if there was a conflict the last time they went that they were going to see it together and they weren't able to.
Yeah, I mean, in the very most literal sense, we find out what the scientific purpose of this expedition is, which is to set up an observatory for astronomical phenomenons and such.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might see the star spawn or the Migo.
Oh, by the way, so completely unrelated to the episode proper, in the opening, which we haven't talked much about the opening. It's a really good opening, really solid. There's a scene in there that actually, funny enough, Mother's Basement, Jeff talked about. So there's a scene where they're digging a hole in the ground. Yeah, freeze frame that, and you'll see that they're digging out what's essentially going to be their toilet.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, watch that scene. There are a lot of just small scenes that communicate a billion things if you look close enough. The expression on Mari's face is perfect. Yeah, give that a look. Like,
nice.
Yeah, check out Jeff's from Mother's Basement's review, in-depth look at that opening. It's really spectacular.
Also, check out this eggplant.
Yeah, check out this eggplant.
I feel like this show is, for me, a clear front runner of the season.
Yup.
It really is on all cylinders, doing things better than so much other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think this might have been, in my estimation, the weakest episode so far. But like, if this is the weakest episode so far, and also if it's gotten to episode 7 before it had the slightest bit of a slump, like, yo, that says something.
Yeah, especially with what is definitely a transitional episode.
Yeah.
I always allow leeway for that. I always know, like, okay, you're switching gears. That's fine. We're going back to level 1. That's cool. So this was their mid-season slump. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that Scott has given no leeway to. Junji Ito Collection.
Oh, yay.
In this episode 7, in part 1, there's a haunted record that everybody wants. In part 2, a girl has dreams about Aristotle, then her family starts peeping on her in her bedroom, so she travels to a town where there's no such thing as privacy, and everyone wears masks and has pickle heads full of eyes. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like part
It
1's
is.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's this record that everybody wants, and then it turns out that it's a ghost record.
A cursed record.
Yep.
She recorded it after she died.
Oh!
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine for what it was. It was kind of over and done pretty quick, it felt
Yeah.
like, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that segment. And one of the primary reasons is that they finally did something that I want this show to do more. It didn't try to make everything overly animated. It didn't try to push the what it did was it pushed its best strength. It's okay, so the scene where we hear the song and there's just this shot of the body laying there. That was gorgeous. That was effective. That was moving. That was creepy. That was so good. And it was limited animation and limited movement, but the song, and it is difficult. I'm surprised they even tried this particular piece of Junji Ito's writing, because when you have a written media talking about music, and especially an original piece, and moreover, a piece that is supposed to be ethereal and kind of like Cthulhu, right? You're not supposed to be able to put this to picture, much less sound.
Yeah.
It's a very effective song. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I believe that was recorded by a dead girl.
Yeah.
That worked so well. The color in that shot, the art, the contrast. I was like, yes, this is perfect for this scene. The entire special plays out particularly well. I liked it. I liked this, like, top to bottom.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
kind
I
of...
was waiting for butt.
No, I like that first segment,
Yeah.
which makes that second segment, which I completely hated.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
How are you so wrong?
The second segment is dumb as
That's
hell.
so good.
It's really bad.
It's awesome.
It's the worst.
It's great. The second. Do you want to talk about the second segment?
Well, yeah, we can talk about because there's such a contrast is the thing. The first one
Absolutely.
is very simple, simple concept, told like you said, like very well. The second one is messy. It's throwing a whole lot of ideas in there.
Yeah.
I was sort of frustrated by it because it does some things so well. I wish it had just focused on those things, just given me one creepy idea to perfection instead of, I don't know, this girl's family's acting real creepy. I didn't even mention, by the way, Jack the Ripper's in her dreams, and her boyfriend gives her a ring, but also people have pickle heads. Also, there's her aunt, and she lives in a town where the roads are hallways, and it's all one big building, and you just
So
walk
cool.
through.
I love it.
That was the part that I liked. The walking through this crazy, surreal dream town and finally reaching the aunt, and that was all really cool. I wish it hadn't been lumped in with all these other ideas that I didn't like as much.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest problem of the adaptation is because the stories do have a lot of stuff going on, and when you're reading that, you can take it at your own pace. So even if something's extraneous, it's only in your head for as long as it's there, and you have a bit more time to digest it as you're reading and see it flow naturally. But even then, yeah, it's still a little all over the place. And when you see it animated, just like wham, bam, bam, and there's no way you can ignore all the crazy shit coming out.
Yeah. The Jack the Ripper stuff was why? Why was Jack the Ripper there? Why did we start with Aristotle? Why with the heads? Why with the eyes? I mean, I kind of felt like the entire thing was supposed to be commentary on on technology and how our decreasing amount of privacy, which I'm all about some good old metaphors, you know. But it gets muddled here constantly by, again, I was unsure where it was going. A lot of the imagery seemed less creepy and more just kind of silly. And I don't know. I did not enjoy it, even though there were parts of it that were effective. But as an overall whole, it's brought down by being unclear with its message. And again, why Aristotle? Why start with that? Why Jack the Ripper?
It's cool. Here's the I'm not gonna I'm not gonna ardently defend this because it is muddled. It's fucking weird, and that's just it. It is a completely separate. It is the surreal dream. The whole thing is she. I guess the deeper thing is that she is perceiving the world, which could be this whole sequence could be a dream, the way it's presented. And in that storytelling nature that he likes to do, things just happen. And if it were any other reality, a person would you'd see a disabled vet walking in Kroger. Maybe you could focus the story on that. We'll mention it, but we'll keep going. Then I see, oh wow, here's this little pumpkin here. It looks like it's got a face. We'll mention that, but keep going. To us, that's normal. I guess that's how I see this. Is all this shit happens, but to them that's normal, so it's not a big deal. We go why, but that's the point. The point is to go, what the fuck? What is this? And it's just it's supposed to make you unsettled and creepy. It's really weird, and it's really messy and arguably bad. It's like, I get it. I'm not going to defend it, but I understand what he's trying to do because it's the antithesis of verisimilitude. Like that's what it's going for in my mind. And that's why I like it. Because it's so, you won't find anything else like it. And that's what's cool to me.
Well, is it time? Should you tell us just how much you like it?
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was effective at making me unsettled and not knowing what's going to happen with any of it, even though I kind of knew a bit, because I'd seen a bit of a few parts of the city being covered by buildings. That's such a cool setting. They do muddle it with a lot of bullshit. But that, coupled with the effectiveness of the first part, I really liked it still.
I actually, I as well digged the imagery of the houses all being basically connected. This idea that, nope, there's no sky anymore. Now it's all just wood and beams and stuff like that. But while I liked that first segment, the second segment was definitely not up my alley. And again, I rate on whether or not I could recommend this show or even this episode, and I still can't. Again, I'm just going to say what I usually say. Read the original manga.
I really liked the episode before this. I really kind of didn't like this episode. I gotta be honest, I'm sort of holding up this eggplant, hoping that we get another episode like last week. Because its surreal dream logic all came together at the end and supported a theme, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I might not get that again, but I'm willing to hold out hope. So that's a double fuck for good old Mr. Ito.
Double fuck.
Just enough.
Just enough to keep it alive for another week. Let's see if Kokkoku stays alive for another week.
Not likely.
This is something that got put on the Wheel of Justice last week. Wheel of Justice showed mercy. We will see if there is mercy for Kokkoku in episode 7. Pretty Lady's brother is alive. She makes preparations to bury her parents and get him to a hospital. Freckle-faced thug decides to join the Yukawa family because he wants to. Jury wants to stall the remaining cultists, exit stasis, and smash the stone. Meanwhile, there is discord between the cult's leader and his followers. I'm glad I wrote that down with words.
Oh, yeah, I
Me
literally,
too.
I could not remember a single thing from the episode until you went back through them all. Now I remember them, and now I remember why I don't remember them.
The only thing that was really cool to me, that I liked, is forward momentum with the bad guy.
Yes.
So he is now doing something.
And you know what he's doing? Exactly the kind of anime bullshit that I was like, you know what? I bet you he's going to become a herald. I bet he's going to want to become the herald of all heralds. And God.
Because stop time isn't cool enough.
Yep. He's got to be Orochimaru, too.
Because your setting of stop time isn't cool enough. You need to have a cult, and you need to have a stone, and you need to have heralds, and you need to have mythology, you need to have 10,000 rules saying how your anime system works. Look how cool your anime is.
You make a lot of noise when you jack off.
It's because I got keys.
Uh,
Key to my heart. Do we have to talk about it?
Look, okay. If this could be the last we ever talk about Kokkoku, because I'm pretty sure that after this, if it dies, we will never talk about Kokkoku again. So I want to say this about Kokkoku. It had some pretty neat moments. It had some neat characters. It had a very neat concept, but it was all bogged down by erratic pacing and a bunch of ideas that ultimately were unnecessary to make this experience actually enjoyable. The author didn't have characters that he couldn't have done good things with. The author didn't have an idea that he couldn't have done anything cool with. He just chose not to do them, and then instead gave us roundabout nonsense plots that ultimately just bored us. This was a boring show. And and the worst part is its value. What do you call it? Production values were all so good. Like, this is not a bad looking show. Like, by and large, it knew how to have great shot composition, great storyboarding. The 3D effects were all solid, and the use of stop time, great stuff. But this is what happens when you give a boring script great production values. You're still bored.
I think this is probably a good time because you're talking like it's already dead.
I know.
Let's make it official. Kieran, hold up a card.
I loved it. This show's still good. It's still got it. Now just get it off my desk by tomorrow.
Yeah, gonna give it that second knife, which, unless something else in our lineup is just fucking terrible.
Well, careful. Tiny Life in the Woods still coming up.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could end it there.
No. I think I'm just gonna have to say goodbye, Kokkoku. I loved you a little bit at first, and then I didn't.
You know, this show had some real good moments. Mm-hmm. It's a pity they were all in the first episode.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, an audience suggestion, which I think in the future we might consider taking, is just having an in memoriam segment at the end of the episode where once we know for sure what dies, we take a moment to talk about it in toto. I think you sort of already did that, so
yeah.
We can go ahead and do that now, but I think that might be a good idea in future weeks, because there are going to be weeks like last week where we don't know until the end what actually dies. So it doesn't make sense to... But yeah, right now, Kokkoku started off so promising with all those pretty stop time, like very well directed, and just got less and less interesting as it went on.
It got muddled in its own asshole.
I feel like this could have been a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It probably would have been a much better film.
Oh my God, yes, because then it's all one overarching plot, not episode to episode. They would have cut all that fat. Like, oh yeah, you could have made this into a movie great. Because then the one stop time would have literally been like an hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, that works. No, I'm okay with that.
I think if it was a movie, I think I would feel about the same because it would be over.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It had some cool shit. It could have been neat. I dug on the herald design, and then they handed them out left and right, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not like one cool, like, elder god.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
you
a
know
bunch of little shitheads stuck in time because they like it.
Yeah, that really did just kill the Herald.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's it? That's stupid.
It is pretty
Dumb.
stupid.
And then we found out that, we can, and then Jury is like, yes, I am the Herald Killer. Pfft.
She's just of the Hyuga clan. That's all
Yep.
she is. That's exactly what that effect is, too. Seeing the chakra lines and everything, it's straight from Naruto.
Yep.
Watch Naruto, it's better.
And that's not something you hear me say every day. Nah, I like Naruto fine. Tiny Life in the Woods, Episode 6. In Part 1, Hakumei gets a haircut. In part 2, Hakumei and Mikochi take Weasel Boss out to lunch and shopping. In part 3, I think this might be the first 3-part episode of this show that we've gotten.
Maybe.
It's usually divided up into 2, but anyway, in part 3, Songstress tries to get a haircut, but the barber is drunk, so they make limoncello instead. This show continues to be itself.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know what to say at this point. It's just another episode of A Tiny Little Life in the Woods, and that is great.
I think there's also a... I think I'd have more to say if I just watched this yesterday. Oh, well.
Okay, so the Mohawk-obsessed beautician.
That was cute. I
Is-
like that.
Yeah.
I'm so curious because she talks very high, and so the entire time, all I'm thinking of is a Japanese Lois Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it.
I hate to say it, but that's
No,
basically,
that's exactly what she is. What get your mohawk?
I'm gonna give you a mohawk. It's gonna look so
Peter.
good, sweet. You Peter.
No, but like legitimately, she was funny. She was cute. Also, can we just talk about Hakumei with short hair? Because it's like she's trying to be mistaken for a boy now.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
I'm not feeling it.
yeah, no, like look, she's still cute. She's still cute with the short hair. But damn it, I loved Hakumei's long hair. She looked so good with it.
And
But
that's... I don't know. It just when you see somebody lose that long hair, it's like, oh, but that must have taken so long. It might never come back.
no, that's what happened with Antfish. Antfish used to have dreads.
yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the day he got his head shaved down was dreadful.
Get it?
I was so sad.
That's dreadless.
Yeah. But he, I'm not sure how I feel about the short hair. But she's still cute, still effective.
So what you're telling me is if she went bald and started growing out a goatee, she'd be better.
Bleh.
Pull off the Carrie Kim.
Bleh.
Okay. I think the show's wearing on me.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
I actually got kind of bored this time. Only specifically, I think what it was the middle segment went a little too long for me because they were just what I like about this show is seeing the environment. We didn't see any of that in the scene where they're eating. It's just them sitting at the table. And I couldn't give less of a shit if it as it kept going on, my interest kept going down.
I will agree with you that segment goes on too long. The idea was, hey, let's show. I can't remember.
I forget his name, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
know they said his name, but I can't remember it.
Iwashidani.
Yeah.
Let's show Iwashidani around town because he's kind of this worker guy who kind of lives out more in the sticks, and the only time he ever does shopping is at a shop like right next to his house. And so watching him, I don't know, there was a part of me that actually loved the whole segment, but I agree. Watching Iwashidani kind of get used to this cityscape is entertaining to a point, but it doesn't grow the world as much.
Yeah.
When you see some stuff that we've already seen Mikochi show Hakumei around.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, here we're just getting Iwashidani, who is a different type of character.
Yeah, and I like him.
Yeah. Iwashidani is like one of my favorite characters of this season, just because of his relationship with Hakumei.
Iwashidani is also my favorite alternate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure.
Right?
Yeah. He's got the sandals with the big chunky. It's real good.
I forgot those existed.
Right? But yeah, it goes on too long because we get a lot of these segments of, now try this food, now try this beer, now come to this clothes shop, which, okay, the clothes shop stuff was actually kind of the highlight of that.
That was okay.
I feel like that was the more important part. Also, little rodent dude in his leather jacket, I was like, I loved him. He was great. And watching them try to haggle with him was also pretty good. But yeah, no, I can see how that whole segment could have been like cut way shorter.
Yeah.
It feels like it's riding on the charm of that book series. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got the earthworm who rides the apple car.
Like the Rich and Scary?
I think so.
Yeah.
Where it's like the appeal is you're seeing this animal dressed up like a person. Isn't that cute? Move on.
Also, can Can we talk about Iwashi Dani's outfit?
It's pretty good though.
How did you feel about his outfit?
I'm trying to remember his outfit.
It was white and blue.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like as a character moment, like it worked. The outfit itself, like
Yeah.
obviously, it didn't stick out to me, or I'd remember it.
I'm sorry, he just looked like Kai Kisuke from
Oh
Guilty Gear.
no, okay. I
Like,
see what you're saying. I
yeah,
didn't. Okay.
The moment he put it on, I'm like, why does he look like a Quincy from Bleach now? Like, I didn't dislike it. In fact,
Yeah.
the weird thing is that's actually my aesthetic. I love that design, but in this kind of more rustic, this rustic fantasy tone, we get that which feels more traditional or traditional anime fantasy. And I was like, okay, that's weird. It also looks a little weird on him.
Didn't stand out a lot to me.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
also saw it forever ago.
well, it was also the last segment, which
Yeah.
actually the last segment was the one that I was kind of meh on.
Yeah, it was. I think I would have liked it better if it had been in another episode, but as a part 3 of an episode in which part 1 introduced the barber character, like, give me a chance to miss
Yeah.
her.
mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the segment itself works.
Yeah.
Especially because the beautician works, except that she doesn't. But yeah, no, I love her response and the way she her interactions with songstress. Like all that stuff was really effective for me. But yeah, it kind of came at the end of the episode after the credits, and yeah, it kind of just seemed like a rehash of past plots, and maybe that's something we have to start worrying about now. Is that yeah, Tiny Little Life in the Woods might not have a whole ton of stories of variety.
Yeah, it had a couple of really good ones centering around Hakumei and her like place in the world and finding.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I want more of. As far as like exploring the world and the setting and all that, I feel like it's kind of done that. Like,
I feel like there's definitely more to explore, though. I feel like we've only seen a fraction of it.
I mean, I'm sure there is. It just, like you said, it needs to be new and different, not
Yeah, exactly.
this same town with this same
Oh
shopping.
yeah, totally. And that's I think that's what it is. And like we've seen a lot with Hakumei. I want to see more with Mikochi.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I mean, it's only 12 episodes in an OVA.
Yeah.
So I am not afraid of. I can already say that the show is a recommendation like that. And if this is where we're starting to get a little rough, that's okay. I mean, this has been an incredibly charming show. This is not a bad episode. It's not even. It's a pretty good episode. But it's also got. Yeah, it's got some rough patches for people like us who are judging it. Our job is to kind of get a little nitpicky. I think the average watcher would still watch this, get their kicks out of it, and then
As you said, it's still the same thing. It is still
Yeah.
on its course. It's just the spice, the bursts I've been getting of really cool shit. None of that here.
none.
Yeah, I think like this is a show that's kind of going to be perpetually on the bubble for me, just because my patience for charming only goes so far. Like, I think it's just the opposite, actually. I think the fact that this is my job and I'll take charming over actively bad any day.
Yeah.
If the choice is charming or nothing because I'm playing Overwatch.
Yeah, no.
Like, yeah, like I might have dropped this show after one off episode just because, like, okay, I've had my fun. I will bid you a fond farewell.
Yeah.
But that said, I will not bid it a fond farewell. I will continue to fuck it because it is still charming, and because it's been really strong the last couple of episodes before this. And guess what? We're getting into that mid-season slump territory. Everything kind of gets its little dip, and hopefully it comes back.
I'd forgotten what the mid-season slump felt like, but again, if this is just a slump, then that's great because I'm still definitely fucking it. Most def fuck. Most def fuck.
Most def. You could do so much worse. You really could. The production, the visuals, they continue to do really fun editing tricks. It still knows how to do what it can to keep things engaging. I think the writing was a little subpar here, and that they could have done some more fun exploratory stuff. But for a ruminatory episode, it was all right.
Well, you could do a lot worse. For example, now we've got No, just kidding. It's Killing Bites.
Oh, man. Correction, you can't do any better than this.
Killing Bites, Episode 6. Airsats Vegeta goes full snack and poisons Hitomi Badger. Anyone who's seen a certain viral video can guess exactly how that turns out for him. We get some flashbacks into Slytherin and Hufflepuff's backstories. Hippo breaks up the fight between Tiger and Crocodile, giving Tiger an opening to escape. As the episode ends, Hitomi Badger and Cheetah square up for a 2-on-1 against Gecko, and Crocodile and Hippo face off against each other, but a mysterious hooded figure enters the fray. But let's get real, this episode isn't about any of that, it's about snake dick.
Yes! Snake penis. Actual snake cock on your television screen. I had to stop. I was like, is it real? Are they going to do it? Are they going to? Oh, it's there. They did both. It's the two.
Yep, both penises.
Both of them are there.
Oh, did I say snake penis? I misspoke. Penises.
Penile, sir. Snake
Hemi-penis, I think. I don't know what the proper term is.
It's nigh impossible for me to get any happier.
Seeing his dicks get cut off.
So it's barely worse in the manga. So you'll notice like it shows up on screen.
Yeah.
But you never see it connected to his body until it's getting cut off.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the manga's happy to just be like, look at my snake dicks. And then they get cut off.
There's I don't know what else to say. It's the best. It's number one.
It's number one. It's the best. And you deserve the best.
It's both number 1 and number 2. The 2 best penises this season.
They're so monstrous.
They're huge.
They're impossible.
They're barbed. They don't have a urethra though. That's how they got it. It's not censored.
I think they did.
I didn't see one.
I thought I saw it.
I think that's how they got away with it. They look like little nubs. I was like, is that supposed? That's. Yeah, it is. I see.
The moment they showed up on screen, I'm like, no.
I am sad I got slightly spoiled for this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's not the person's fault because they were confused. They thought that last episode before this was when this would show up. And so when it didn't, they said, "Oh, I'm so sad this scene from the manga got cut out."
Oh, man.
I guess I understand because how could they do that? So yeah, and then when it became clear, like, oh wait, is this gonna happen? Oh, this is gonna happen.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to talk about the rest of the episode when that's up in your face. And it is up in your face.
In your face,
it is
dude.
like
It creeps from the bottom of the frame, then you get another shot of wham right there.
It's 1 per eyeball. You can't get any more. The dick to eyeball ratio is 1 to 1.
I feel like an orchestra could have come in the moment they were coming on screen. Like, how do you?
Yeah, like I don't know, what else do you want us to say? There's the snake penis, it got cut off. Oh, the gecko girl, her design is whack, and I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, no, and I love the fact that these. Okay, so basically the reptilians have kind of a secondary transformation, or more or a more full transformation, to where they go like almost entirely animal, and it's kind of fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got that, especially because. As I've said, the sexual dimorphism in the show has always kind of frustrated me because I'm like, oh yeah, the dudes get to go fully animal, but the girls are stuck looking super hot. No, she's like, this is ugly as.
Yeah.
And I was actually expecting something not ugly. No, it's fucking ugly as fuck. Yep, and it's so good. And
It's amazing.
And of course, she fights the cheetah, and the cheetah's like, yeah, go ahead, throw me around. I'm just going to brace every time. And
Because she sees the world in slow motion, because she's so fast, like every cheetah is, of course, you idiot.
Which is total bullshit, but again, that's what we watch this show for.
Yeah,
We
I
want
love
this
it.
total bullshit. So, meanwhile, Hippo saves Tiger, but then, Crocodile dude is like, yeah, but I'm going to kick your ass, though, now. It's like, you don't understand.
Other things that happened, Rabbit should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah,
Yes,
That was,
yeah.
I know you don't like Rabbit. I like that scene. I thought
did
that
too.
was, there was no reason for it to be there other than to remind us, by the way, this character still exists.
I think she's going to use the holes to save one of them.
Probably.
I mean,
Ooh, okay.
I mean, it's kind of so obviously foreshadowed at this point because why she's got to be there for a reason because the mangaka's not going to put her in there for no reason. Like,
I'd be fine if the manga put her in there for no reason.
that would be funny.
I'm also fine with that.
I think she's probably either gonna. Oh, yeah, she'll have to see either Hitomi or Hippo Dude. I think it's probably gonna be Hippo Dude, because Hippo Dude is way out of his league with the crocodile. He is fucked.
Yeah.
Of course. Also, guy who showed up at the end.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We will find out about that next episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be the same, the exact same temperature of hot bullshit
Yep.
that I am already enjoying.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried with this because when it comes to the look, it's rape. It's a snake rapist with 2 giant dicks, and there's a part of me that's like, this is really gross and really inappropriate.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking over the top and so crazy, and he gets his dicks cut off. I can't be morally outraged by this.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be shock and craziness.
See, I'm the person who's, out of the three of us, who's probably more than anybody been going like, this is a little uncomfortable. This is the one that pushed it over, like brought it back around, like, nope, okay, nope, we're fine. We're good.
I don't think it would have been as acceptable if it hadn't have gone so crazy and over the top. You're right. It needed this element of like, okay, this is just so absurd that who could possibly find this insidious? It's just hilarious. It's just crazy. And yeah, I mean,
Unprecedented.
oh no!
I give it a double fuck. With 2 of my eggplants. My Hemi eggplant is now erect. I love this show. If you're not watching it and you have Amazon Prime, you are doing yourself a disservice. Watch the show.
He covered it for me. That's my fuck right there. How about you?
Oh, did you expect anything different? That is the world's first quad fuck for Killing Bites, counting both of Kieran's.
I had to whip out my second one.
Had to stick your transformed penis.
Somebody in the audience is like, man, they killed fucking Franks for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
we killed
Yes, we
Franks.
did.
In a heartbeat.
Any day of the week. Let's talk about Pop Team Epic.
Oh, yes.
In this episode 7, drugs. Actually, that's not true. This had that amazing segment
I'm
with
glad
the 2
you- yes.
dudes in the lab
Hiroshikiano!
coats. Yeah.
Hell Shakeano. Because that's the kind of the main, that's my big crux for this. Because those guys have made in the past so many goofy music videos that have gone viral, and I love their art style, and they're just so insane. This whole episode, like the big chunk of this episode, features them with a flip sketchbook, voice acting, and just
Yep.
doing the whole thing, and it's magical.
It is.
It's insane what they actually do with it. It's art. It actually is art, and I'm not bullshitting you.
It creeps up on you because at first I'm like, as with most things, this show throws at me like, oh, okay, what's this now? And then like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute. And then it just keeps going, and it's like, no, this is amazing.
And they just keep doing crazy shit with it. They're like, okay, they got 2 flip books, whatever. This is panel 1. This is panel 2. Then they start like cutting out parts of it. Then they like do all these crazy tricks with it. It's one of the neatest things I've seen.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you would see a couple of people put together on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we get like 3 million views. But it's and it's by these specific guys for this show, and it's so cool.
So good.
I was not expecting something like this from Pop Team Epic. I'm hoping I see more stuff like this from Pop Team Epic, because I'm actually having trouble remembering some of the other sequences from
me
this
too,
episode.
honestly.
But yeah, I know. I was wondering what the fuck Hell Shake Yano was.
Yeah.
Like they mentioned in another episode, and then it comes out here and it's like, no, this is Hell Shake Yano. There is a lore to Pop Team Epic. Oh.
It's really something else. Like you could probably just see that isolated bit and get the best nugget of this whole episode, but it is really fucking cool. And the way I am just watching this isolated in the, like, I watched the back half 11 minutes. I don't even see the first one now. I don't think I'm losing anything by doing it. But that alone.
Oh, so shit, you didn't see those 2 guys dubbed over by the other actors?
No.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay.
That didn't happen.
You scared me for a second.
Something I did notice in this episode is that in the first part, Papako is played by the same voice actress for the Omni King, and that
Oh, damn, I didn't look it up. Oh,
yeah,
were they? Okay.
I didn't have to look it up. I've heard enough of that little shit, and it's like I felt triggered. I was like, ah, god damn it, it's the Omni King, god damn it, motherfucker. But yeah, actually, like one thing I did notice in this episode. So it's sort of interesting because I know they get different actors and actresses for every episode, but I never know how much them getting specific actors or actresses has an effect on the actual content. Mm-hmm. I could not imagine an episode where Papako were played by anybody but that girl. Mm-hmm. Because Papako in this episode is the cutest, sweetest, nicest version of any of the other Papakos. And oh my god,
that's right.
The scene where Peepee Me is fishing.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not catching anything. I'm a fish.
No, like this is the problem with comedy. It just turns into us referencing it.
No.
But it's
But that's okay, because most of its comedy is just referencing things.
and that's
little bit.
exactly fine.
I don't know. I actually like all in all, I still enjoyed this episode. But yeah, the big outstanding segment is Hoshikiano.
Yeah. I've been knifing this show. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't throw up an eggplant for this one. This episode was I wish that more of this show was creative stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to agree. I hope that we're going to get more stuff like that. Team Epic has continuously done things that I did not know or expect them to do. So that's the one reason I'm going to continue to fuck it, is that every week there is something in there that I'm like, that was good. I liked that. I expect to see that moment on YouTube ASAP.
Yeah. If you're just watching, again, you don't have to watch the whole 22 minutes. If you just want to see one part of it, you could do so much worse for a time spent to quality ratio than this. And it really is experimental and fun. If you enjoy anime, you will enjoy seeing how they try to reinterpret some things and flip shit on its head. And yeah, this was a pretty subversive episode for Papako. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's our list for this week, and that does mean that Kokkoku is dead.
Shall we give a moment of silence for Kokkoku?
You mean a time stop? And out!
Ooh.
I assume it was cool.
Yeah.
If Dio's not there, I'll be mad.
Man,
That sucks. You couldn't have known. But
I couldn't have known that I could have saved that Dio segment specifically for this one. If I'd known, I would have.
I don't know what else there is to say about it that we didn't mention. It really kind of blew its load at the beginning and then just turned into a wet fart that kept going.
It never got bad. It just got boring, and maybe that's worse.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It had some cool threads, and it pulled those as far as it could.
Yeah.
With nothing interesting happening.
Yeah, it also had a vast tapestry of bad threads that I didn't give a shit about.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Well, we'll probably never talk about Kokkoku again. Like, literally, I don't think we'll have another conversation after this.
No, the fuck buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fuck
Probably
buddies.
revisit it.
The fuck buddies will bring
That
Kokkoku
intro's
back.
okay.
That intro is one of my favorites of the season. So
It's pretty good.
Sorry.
Trying to think, like, any of the fuck buddy categories, any of the others that, I don't know. I wound up working some shit into those fuck buddy nominees because want to give everything its moment, but...
yeah.
Like when I heard, like I saw the teaser, the synopsis, everything about it was ticking my boxes. Like this seems so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a damn shame, especially for the show that I locked.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I'd locked After the Rain now.
Dude, I locked Hoshin Engi. Don't even worry about it. I screwed up everything. I'd hope. Did you hear about like that fucking petition or whatever?
Yes.
Like,
Okay, I think the petition is dumb, but it is at least...
yeah, it is stupid, but it helps us see what the fan thinks,
Yeah,
which
it
I
is-
needed to know.
It is heartening to know that the fans think that this is also hot garbage.
Yeah, for the specific reasons we outlined. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, Hoshin Engi, that show that kept like blitzing through a volume per episode, also, like, this one fan tried to make this petition to say, fucking stop it, or just after these 12 episodes, do something different, because they complain about the pacing. They said you're going way too fast. Everyone's out of character because you have no time to know who anybody is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they're going at it from this perspective of, hey, you're telling the story badly. These scenes are getting cut, and this doesn't make sense. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here like, why do you have to go in that specific detail? No, just tell them, hey, your show is incomprehensible because you're adapting it like shit.
I appreciate that they did, because it validated me, and I know that fans of that show are getting shafted as equally as I was.
Well, worse.
Yep,
Even worse.
Even worse. We started watching Soul Hunters for a bit, though, because Funimation still has that up on their...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so we watched that for a bit, and yeah, it's so much slower.
Is it
slower.
any better?
A bit. It's a bit better. It's still like, it's still pretty generic shonen stuff, but it is far more comprehensible than the other one. You don't get people jumping out of a building and then we're okay with it 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everybody at home, for everybody here, everybody on Twitch, everybody on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week at our normal time. What's our normal time? We don't have one. Fuck you.
Bye, folks.
Bye.